Pastor, what version of the Bible should I get? Well, it depends on what you're after. And different translators of the Bible have different philosophies in mind. You'll find a lot of charts like this on the internet with, on the far left, word for word translations, on the far right, paraphrases, and then in the middle, thought for thought. And the idea is you're going to get super close accuracy over here, but it's going to be hard to read or harder to read. For example, an interlinear is simply a Bible that has the Hebrew and the Greek, and underneath it are the English words, but it's not going to make sense because Greek and Hebrew word order is going to be different, but for accuracy, it's super accurate. Most of the time, the NASB, the ESV, the Old King James, the New King James are going to be lumped over here in the word for word categories. I use the ESV for study. Thought for thought, you're going to have the NIV here in the middle. I think the translators of the New Living Translation would probably argue that they don't belong this far over on the paraphrase chart. They would probably put themselves closer to the middle. But the idea is the further you go over here, the more readable it's going to be, but you're going to lose accuracy. So for our purposes, as we are going into more in-depth study, I'm going to encourage us to hang out over here in the word for word. Now, I'm going to do another video on a website that enables you to look at all of these at the same time. We'll look at Bible Gateway. Now, another thing I want to make you aware of is it depends who has put the chart together as to where these different versions are going to end up. So here we have a similar idea. Here's a XY axis scale, and on the left here we have readability, and on the bottom we have literalness. And of course the ideal optimal one that this chart has is the Christian Standard Bible. Well, it's probably the Christian Standard Bible publishers who made this chart. It's the perfect blend of readability and literalness. Well, I guess that depends. Every one of these would probably put their version as the optimal translation. But again, you're going to see a similar theme here. You've got your King James, New King James, NASB, and ESV more on the literal side of the chart, and then over here, you're going to have the NIV and the New Living on the more readable but less literal side of things. So, the last thing I want to show you is this website called Bible Gateway. And what it enables you to do is actually, let's say we're studying this verse, Galatians 4:3. If you just call up the individual verse, if you call up the whole chapter, you can't do this. But if you call up the individual verse, it's going to list the verse here. But then you have this button in all English translations. You click it, and look at this. It gives you, I haven't even counted, it's probably 50 English translations of that same verse. So when studying a passage, I go here all the time just to see the difference between how translators have translated it.